Against Portugal, we were quite defensive.
Okay.
We changed the game plan in the second half. We scored 2, but considered 3. Against South Korea, we were quite okay in terms of the back 4. We played 4 back against South Korea instead of the 5 back against Portugal, but we still considered. And the coach has spoken about the fact that he's going to work on the defense. So it's very important for me to see how we will defend today against Uruguay. I know we will score at least 2 goals. That's our hallmark.
That's your
Yes,
prediction.
we know how to score, so we will score. But the number of goals we also concede is what I'm thinking about. And I'll go for a 2-1 win for the Black Stars.
Nice. Thank you very much. That was City Sports Evans Ofochumanzo. Now, some local football fans have been speaking to City Sports ahead of today's Ghana versus Uruguay. Let's take a listen.
We know that Ghana will surely make us proud. They started well. Our prayer is that they will end well. I know that we are going for revenge because if you see what happened in South Africa, the last match they had with Uruguay, we nearly nailed it, but it was quite unfortunate that Asamoah missed that golden opportunity of scoring the penalty that would lead us to the semi-final. But inshallah, with this time, I know with the squad we have now, we are going to make it.
We are going to give them 2-0. 2-0. Don't score 2-0. We are just going to score them tomorrow 2-0. That's what I'm saying now.
Suarez. As for Suarez, that guy there, he's old. He's even an old man, so he has nothing to show. And moreover, we have a solid team. Therefore, the win is for us. We should lose this match. I beg they should remain there. They shouldn't try and come back here because we don't need them here. Yeah.
Those were some local football fans giving us their thoughts ahead of today's match. Caleb, what are your predictions?
Oh, I believe you are going to win. Would win handsomely.
How many?
It should be, 3 goals should be fine. With two. That's how I like it.
3-0 or 3-1?
No, 3. Oh, we'll give them 1.
We'll give them 1. So 3-1.
Yeah. Something to compensate them, sort of. But we will score them.
Definitely.
Yeah, we will score them.
Well,
my fufu will not go bad, inshallah.
Definitely. Yeah. Evans, I'm with you. I think 2-1 is
well. You're looking right. 2-1.
No, 3 is fine.
Oh, no.
3 is okay.
Well, I think 2-1.
Okay.
This is still the Citi Prime News, live from our studio at Adabaka in Accra. Still ahead. Patients in critical conditions at Minsha District Hospital transferred as nurses and midwives lay down their tools to demand the dismissal of the Ashanti Regional NSS boss. We'll bring you details shortly. Do stay with us.
If one situation can cause this huge upset, I think the authorities have to do something about it. The government have to do something about it. This is health matters.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Fine, anyone can become the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyone. Whether market woman, student, professional, even fisherman or cobbler. Yugo Play, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand the chance of winning a house, cash, or other prizes, such as savings towards the house. Simple and easy to play.
What do you get when you mix the best DJs in the country, the most amazing live band sets, delicious cocktails, and wonderful food? Back-to-back hit music from Ghana's finest group, Prayer, and being serenaded by the brilliantly talented Aquabua. The biggest outdoor party, of course. Situation 2022. Are you ready to party? We're changing the situation on December 24, 20.
For staying with us, my colleague Caleb Kuda has more stories.
And we'll take you to the Ashanti region where healthcare delivery at the Minsha District Hospital in Kumasi has halted following a strike by nurses and midwives at the facility. Patients on admission who are in critical condition have been referred to other facilities, while those nearing recovery have been discharged and asked to continue treatment at home. This comes after the nurses and midwives complied with their leadership's directive for them to embark on strike after the Ashanti Regional National Service boss verbally abused a nurse at the facility. The leadership wants Mr. Alex Opoku-Mensah to be dismissed with immediate effect before calling off the strike. Patients and their relatives have thus been left stranded and frustrated. Emmanuel Apia Japan, who has been forced to take his relative to a different facility, has been speaking to Citi News.
That's my mom. They brought her here for a surgery, she was amputated, and then we took her home. There was an infection, so we have to bring her back. And then yesterday we were told there will be a strike today, so today we should come and take her to a nearby private hospital. And I don't know what to say again, but then this is not fair because she needs to get the right treatment from here. It's a government hospital. But then if one situation can cause this huge upset, I think the authorities have to do something about it. The government have to do something about it. This is health matters, So if just a little incident, I won't call it a bigger one, but then a little incident can cause a whole hospital to be shut down or a whole nurses to go on strike. This is unfair.
Emmanuel Apia Japong is a relative of a patient of the Mensha District Hospital. Meanwhile, doctors at the various wards insist discharging and referring patients on admission is the only option available to them due to the strike. Dr. Priscilla Ansa has been speaking to City News on this.
As it stands now, we are referring those who are not fit, who don't need to be discharged. And we are discharging those who are fine and can go home and continue their medications at home. But those who are not really well, we have to refer to a different facility so that they can go and continue their care over there.
So that's an interim measure you're putting in place?
Yes.
But what has been the reaction from those who are on admission and even their family members so far?
Some of them are bored. Honestly, everyone is angry. Almost all of them are angry. Yeah, because it was just an impromptu something. We just came all of a sudden, we are discharging and we are referring, so they don't get it. Some of them don't even want to go to the facility we are referring them to because they feel like they'll go and die, especially when you mention cat. The people think when they go there, they'll go and die. Yeah, and also it's a mixed feeling.
Dr. Priscilla Ansa is a medical doctor at the Mensha District Hospital in the Ashanti region.
Now we're joined over the phone lines by our bureau chief of the Middle Belt, Edward Opongmafo, who is a man on the ground at the Mensha District Hospital to paint a picture of what is happening there. Good afternoon, Edward. Now, how bad or how hard is the strike biting?
Well, the strike is really biting hard at the Mensha District Hospital. And that's because almost all operations have been halted for now. So what happens is that for those who are going to the OPD or some serious emergency issues, they have been attended to by the doctors who are available. But that's just for a short period, just to ensure the person survives, and then the person will be transferred to another facility. But for those who are the various wards, in fact, the wards are virtually empty here. All the wards and people who are in critical condition, and they have been asked to call their relatives to ensure they are transferred to some other facilities. There are other people who are even saying that they don't even have the funds to use in taking a vehicle which will transport them to a different facility. And that's the level of frustration. People who are in critical conditions, people who are really suffering. There was one woman I spoke to. She is diabetic and she can barely walk. And she tells me that she doesn't even know what to do. She has been relying heavily on the National Health Insurance Scheme and all that, and she's not having any amount of money on hand. So she doesn't actually know what she's going to do next, and she doesn't even have any amount of money on hand. So she was just trying to call relatives who could come to her aid. And that's a story of many people. There are others who have just given birth. There are people who went through cesarean section and they are trying to in fact, they are recovering. Some of them need to dress their wounds, and others, no one is attending to them because the nurses and midwives are not available, and there's virtually nothing they could do. Some are just hanging around and hoping that someone will attend to them, but that is not happening because all the nurses are not at post at the moment, and the wards look very empty, and the few people who happen to be around, those who are on admission, were transferred, and the doctors who are around were basically working to get them transferred. And interestingly, some people are even trying to resist that. They feel, well, the facility that they are being transferred to, they feel they won't survive over there. So they have some kind of exchanges with doctors and all that. But the picture is that with various wards that are virtually empty, patients have been asked to, those who are a bit okay have been asked to go home and continue with the medication, and there's some kind of plan that they've drawn for them to follow so that at least they'll be fine. But for those who are still in critical condition, even if you're trying to resist the fact that you're supposed to be transferred, there's virtually nothing that they can do about it. That's what the doctors are saying. So they're trying to transfer all of them. What we have gathered is that the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaje, is expected to come around and engage with relevant stakeholders to find a way of mitigating the effect of the strike, just to ensure that it has not caused further havoc in this case.
Okay, now have you been able to speak to some of the leadership of the nurses and midwives? What have they been saying?
Yes, in fact, I've been speaking to some of the nurses, and for them, they are insisting that they are going by their usual stance, and the stance is that they want Mr. Alex Opoku-Mensah, the Ashanti Regional Director of the National Service Scheme, to be dismissed with immediate effect. And you see, because of the fact that they complained of the assault on the nurse, and they made a call for him to be dismissed, but the National Service Scheme said they have suspended him, and the committee has been constituted to look into the issue. They are saying they are not satisfied with that. They feel that it's just a ploy to make the issue die down. And once no one is talking about it, the Ashanti Regional Nurses boss will be reinstated, and he'll go on with his usual activities. They feel the comments he made actually mean that he does not really respect nurses, and there's just some kind of disrespect towards them. And so they feel some kind of action should be taken. And the only action they are calling for is for him to be dismissed. That's the only reason that will make them return to work. And so, per their plan, they are starting the strike in the Ashanti region. They are starting a strike in the Menchia District Hospital today. And so 72 hours after today, which happens to be somewhere around Tuesday, the whole of Ashanti region went back on another strike. And that's the strike to really impress on authorities to find a way of ensuring that Mr. Alex Opoku-Mensah is dismissed with immediate effect. And they're saying that once the whole of the region is started strike and he's still not dismissed, then by the end of the week, that's on Friday, next week Friday, they will declare nationwide strike.
Have you cited the daughter of the NSS boss, and how is she taking this?
Well, what we have gathered so far is that the management indicated to us earlier that they have asked the daughter of the NSS boss, who happens to be a doctor, together with the nurse involved, they have asked them to stay home for a while. So they have been given some days off, and they're also going through some kind of counseling. We understand the issue has affected them in a number of ways. And so what we know, or what we have been told, is that the two persons involved, the nurse and the doctor, they are quite traumatized. So they are receiving some kind of psychological support. And for now, they have been asked not to report to work, but they've given them some time. Once they feel it's okay for them to resume work, that's when they'll get back to the facility.
Thank you very much for that update. That was the Bureau Chief of the Middle Belt, Edward Opong Mafo. We move away from that and to the Farmers' Day celebration, because the chairman for the 38th National Farmers' Day celebration, Kono of Manya Krobo Nene Sakite II, and the president of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, has called for the establishment of agro-based industries in the Eastern region to enhance availability of food and to also add value to food produced in the region to enhance food security at all times. Commending farmers in his acceptance speech, Nene Sakite II indicated that the establishment of agro-based industries will go a long way to reduce high levels of the country's imports, at the same time enhance food security.
The region grows almost the staple crops in commercial quantities, cultivates 3 major food security crops: maize, rice, and cassava. In view of this, the region would be grateful to have the establishment of agro-based industries to enhance value addition and to ensure availability of these staples even in the lean season. We are hopeful that this year's event will usher in a renewed spirit among the stakeholders in the agricultural sector to come on board and have this public-private participation arrangement to facilitate value addition.
That was the corner of Manya Krobo Nene Sakete II and president of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs at the 38th Farmers' Day celebration.
Now, on her part, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mavis Hawakumson, says as part of efforts to ensure sustainable fisheries resources and reduce the exploitation of juvenile fishes, her outfit has held meetings with colleague fisheries ministries in Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and Togo to observe a joint close season with Ghana simultaneously to help the recovery of the depleted fish stock by 2023.
The year has been a very active one for the fisheries and aquaculture sector. My ministry, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, hosted the 7th meeting of ministers responsible for fisheries and aquaculture of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States in Accra from 5th to 8th of April 2022. The meeting brought together high-level policy makers and experts from the 79 member states of the OACPS to discuss pertinent issues in the sector. The United Nations Assembly declared 2022 as the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture, IFA 2022. And in March 2022, my ministry officially launched activities to mark the celebration of IFA 2022.
She added that her ministry is collaborating with the Food and Research Institute to improve value addition in the fisheries sector as new fish products have been developed on the market for commercialization.
Fish value addition in Ghana is likely small scale and involves the application of traditional processing methods such as salting, smoking, drying, and frying, which often do not meet internationally and EU-approved standards using the hazard analysis critical control point method. Accelerating the development of the fisheries sector through value addition will require the provision of improved processing technologies that meet international standards for export and consumption. It will also require developing the capacity of the traditional fish processors, who are mostly women. The ministry is collaborating with the Food Research Institute to improve value addition in the sector. As a result of the collaboration, new fish products such as fish powder, fish kebab, fish sausage, fish balls, and others have been developed, and uptakers are being encouraged to commercialize these products.
Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Mavis Hawakumson there. Now, the Eastern Regional Minister Seth Kwame Champon in his address says the Eastern region is positioning itself to strengthen activities of all farmers to ensure the region becomes the hub for agriculture in the country.
Since the inception of the Eastern Commodity Market, we have, by your support, linked 13,685 farmers and small-scale processors to markets. The total value of transaction amounts to 19,325,400 Ghana cedis. This modest data, being recorded at this very young age of our agenda, only signifies that it is, if pursued rigorously, the Eastern region will achieve the objective of our agricultural industrialization. I entreat all of you here to take a stroll through the stands of the Eastern Commodity Satellite Market and purchase an item safely produced, properly processed, and packaged right here in the Eastern region.
Seth Kwame Echampon is Eastern Regional Minister.
We'll still stay on the Farmers' Day celebration. We'll go to the Ashanti region where the minister Simon Osei-Mensah is calling on President Akufo-Addo to task all political appointees to be involved in agriculture to encourage more Ghanaians to indulge in farming activities. The minister believes this will help boost the economy and create more jobs. He also wants major stakeholders to encourage the consumption of locally manufactured products such as rice. He made a statement during the 38th Ashanti Regional Farmers' Day celebration in Kumasi.
The youth are now drifting away from the rural areas to the urban areas in search of non-existing jobs. So I urge on behalf of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and on my own behalf, to call on all government appointees and top politicians to venture into the agricultural sector, to encourage the youth to also take up agriculture, which they see as business for the old people and also non-educated people.
Simon Osei-Mensah is the Ashanti Regional Minister. On his part, the Mayor of Kumasi, Samuel Pine, urged farmers to focus on value addition to help maximize profit and create jobs for more unemployed Ghanaians.
As the state makes the effort to develop the agriculture sector, it behoves on us as citizens to also direct our investment in agriculture to augment the efforts of the government. While these programs by the government continue to yield the expected results of increased productivity, incomes could further be raised by adding value to the primary commodities that are being produced. This could be in the form of converting products like fruits into bottled juices, dried chips, and others. Vegetables could also be transformed into paste and puree.
Samuel Pine is the Mayor of Kumasi.
The Member of Parliament for Akwetia in the Eastern Region, Henry Boakye-Yadom, says government's freeze on public sector employment poses a security threat to the country. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in his 2023 budget presentation announced a freeze on civil and public service hirings effective next year as part of government's expenditure rationalization measures. Here's the lawmaker Henry Boakye-Yadom reacting to some of the policies outlined by the government in the budget.
Looking at the unemployment rate. Now, if you look at even the public sector, Ghana population is close to 32 million. And then by looking at figures that was mentioned in the public sector, it's less than 1 million. So 700 to 800,000 people, which is very low. And again, government is not going to employ public sector employees. So that's another challenge in the sense that if those are not employed, what do we expect them to do? Is give a sense of security danger as well as a country. You know, if someone is not working, you might also think what the next person, then the person will be thinking to do next. You have to engage him one way or the other. Otherwise, I would say we'll be expecting a high robbery cases in some of the regions as compared to even not implement the policies in the 2023 budget as compared to 2022, the challenges that we are facing as a country.
That was Henry Boakye-Yadom. He's the Member of Parliament for Akwetia in the Eastern Region. In a related development, the Member of Parliament for Gomua West in the Central Region, Richard John Mensah, says the government has failed to alleviate the plight of Ghanaians with its increase in the value-added tax by 2.5%.
Before us, I earlier said that it's just, to me, it seems to me, it is presented just to meet constitutional imperative, but does not seek to address the urgent needs of Ghanaians now. In the budget, we see that where we expect government to come in to help the ordinary Ghanaians, especially when it comes to general prices of goods, we don't see that. We rather, government is introducing new taxes, especially with the 2.5% VAT. there's one thing clearly that we have, I want to point out to Ghanaians. When it comes to the VAT, it has some cascading effects, especially with the National Health Insurance Levy, the GETS Fund, and then the COVID-19 levy. These taxes are not are allowed to be imputed. So from the importer to the wholesaler to the retailer, these taxes or levies are all charged at each level. Now, there's an introduction of an additional 2.5 on VAT. And when you look at the effective rates, it actually sends our tax or VAT on goods and services to almost 22%. And at this critical moment, I think that even though we are in a dire situation, I don't think government should look at imposing so much pressure on us, because he seeks to redeem us. And redeeming us doesn't mean that, or to redeem the economy doesn't mean that the people who you are doing this for, you should be killing them.
Gomua West Member of Parliament in the Central Region, Richard John Menson.
Now, a section of national service personnel are also kicking against the directive to freeze public sector employment announced in the 2023 budget presentation last week by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on the floor of Parliament. In the budget statement, it reviewed government's intention to freeze public sector employment next year as part of efforts to cut down expenditure in a bid to revive the ailing economy. In a Citi News interview, some NSS personnel feared they will stay unemployed after service.
What do you say? Yes, there's that thought about what happens to you after school, especially in a country where you have a very large youth population. What happens to us after school, especially when government is our largest employer?
The fear is there but so that will mean that the government is going to freeze the public sector, but there would be a lot of pressure on the private sector, and the fear that if you don't know someone, you may not get a job is high.
In the news all over that the government has frozen the work employment opportunities for next year. I think this is going to create a whole lot of unemployment situations in the country, problems to the country. Already in the country, people are facing unemployment problems, and then come and help this being another one on top.
You heard some NSS personnel sharing their displeasure with the freezing of public sector employment directive. You're still listening to Citi Prime News live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, some Ghanaian commuters demand deduction in transport fares as fuel price reduce across the country. Stay tuned, we have details shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers. What do you get when you mix the best DJs in the country, the most amazing live band sets, delicious cocktails, and wonderful food? Back-to-back hit music from Ghana's finest group, Prayer, and being serenaded by the brilliantly talented Aquabua. The biggest outdoor party, of course. Situation 2022. Are you ready to party? We are changing the situation on December 24, 2022 with the biggest outdoor party in Accra. The Situation Outdoor Party 2022. Let's wrap up the year in style with the most epic party to end all parties this Christmas Eve with Situation. Make your Christmas Eve come alive with the most incredible DJs who will keep you dancing all night long. Amazing live band sets and the crooner Aquabua. It is the perfect perfect ingredient for the best party this festive season. Ain't no party like a city party, because a city party don't stop. This will be another one to remember. Date Saturday 24th December 2022. Venue La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Accra. Time 8 p.m. Dress code, it's an all-white affair. For table booking, call 020-5973-973 or 055-89-73973. Book your table and make reservations now. Media partners, Ghana Weekend and City FM. This is powered by Citi TV. This is a Beyond the Return event.
All the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, some Ghanaians have appealed to transport operators to review fares downward to serve a relief in the current economic dispensation. This comes on the back of another reduction of fuel price at major ex-pumps across the country. Petrol and diesel, which were selling for over 18 Ghana cedis and 23 Ghana cedis respectively in November, dropped in December to 15.40 Ghana cedis and a little over 18 Ghana cedis respectively. Transport operators increased fares and means to keep businesses afloat. However, in a Citi News interview, some Ghanaians say the fuel price drop warrants reduction in transport fares. There's more in the following report filed by Citi News' Kweku Ediama Ansan.
Fuel is a major driver of Ghana's economy, and anytime there is a hike in the prices of petroleum products, it has a downward effect on people in the value chain, and that has been experienced at least in the past few months here in Ghana. And this is so because fuel, which started at about 6 Ghana cedis, that is for petrol, rose to 10 Ghana cedis and was selling over the last month for about 18 Ghana cedis. Diesel was also selling for over 23 Ghana cedis, and this wreaked havoc on the businesses of people who rely solely on fuel. We also saw a rippling effect on people who also rely on commercial transport, because transport operators who also said they could not bear the brunt any longer had to pass on the burden to some people who rely solely on their services. Some good news or some respite has come for people who are in this value chain, because fuel price currently has been reduced to about 15 Ghana cedis, 40 pesos. That is for petrol, and for diesel, it's selling for about 18 Ghana cedis and 19 Ghana cedis at some major pumps here in Ghana. But how are people reacting to this particular development?
And I hope they keep on, reducing the price of the fuel. So I'm sure by December we'll have, low prices, and we'll be very glad, because the more you spend on fuel, the more difficult it is to, continue your life with. So I hope they keep on reducing it.
But how bad was the situation for you when it was hitting like over 18 cities?
Every Ghanaian, felt it when it was increased. So now that it's reduced, I hope, we are now enjoying it. So we are hoping they'll keep on reducing it.
This is good news, because at least, looking at driving your own car, the comfortability with regards to, taking a commercial vehicle is not same. So if, fuel prices should come down, fine. It will be very good news for some of us who have vehicles, and then, at least cut down costs a little bit for us.
Meanwhile, some Ghanaians who rely on commercial transport are also calling on transport operators to review their transport fares downwards.
Take a taxi. If you don't maybe just bargain with the driver before he takes off, you get to your point and the price he will call. There is nothing you can do about it, because already he is there with you. Understand me? But with the prices coming down, my greatest desire will be that the fares will come down. The taxis will also know how to go about their charges, and then generally to be okay for all of us. The government should get back to the transport unions, that now that the prices are coming down, they should also do something about their fares, so that it not be that the prices are down and they are still maintaining.
We appeal to government to, sit down with the truck drivers and their mates
to reduce this in the church offer, because now it's too much. As the fuel price is reduced, they have to reduce the church offer, but still they are still collecting how they are collecting now. So we think government should come to our aid for them to reduce the fuel and the church transportation for us.
The prices of fuel products continue to drop. This comes as a respite or relief to its consumers, but they are thus calling on government to see to a further decline in the price of these products. Meanwhile, some persons who also patronize the services of commercial transport operators are also calling on them to also see to a review in the price of transport fares. Reporting for City News, my name is Kwekwe Diamansa.
Now, Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana have described government's decision to deactivate all SIM cards that have not gone through the two-step registration process as of November 30 as a step taken in the right direction. The association, however, urged government to be measured in the deactivation as the impact will affect their businesses. Speaking to City News, the General Secretary of the association, Evans Otumfo, says the deactivation should be made progressive to control the huge impact.
Agents or business will be denied people who will be requesting all these services. So at the end of the day, the revenue base, our customer base, all these, elements of the business, everything is really going to be impacted, which in turn will also come and affect business. So the number is so huge that we cannot really overemphasize the impact of the action that government is taking against persons who have actually not yet registered their SIM cards, or maybe they could not complete SIM card. This is a step in the right direction because we feel government has actually given enough grace period for people to have their SIM cards re-registered.
You had the General Secretary of the Mobile Money Agents Association, Evans Otumfo.
Now, the Education Ministry has attributed the improved performance of West African Secondary School Certificate Examinations WASI candidates to the government's flagship program, the Free Senior High School Policy. Data from the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) shows that candidates performed better in social studies with an English language. While English language, core mathematics, and integrated science, on the other hand, showed a fluctuating trend in the performance of candidates over the 3-year period. Here is the Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, touting the performance of the candidates during a debate on the 2023 budget in Parliament.
If you look at the outcomes in education in this country, we know at the high school level, we measure our outcomes with the WASI. The good news is that WAEC released WASI this morning, and the outcomes is there for the whole world to see. If there was a crisis, it will reflect in the outcomes that have just been released. When you look at the performance of our students, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate them and the teachers for the great job that they have done. Before Free Senior High School, in a very good year, you have about 35% of the students getting credit in mathematics. Now this year, look at the numbers, and it has been trending upwards. English, 60.31%. Mathematics, 61.39%. Integrated science, 62.45%. Social studies, 71.31%. Each one of them is about 60%. That is what transformation brings about. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is on the move in this country. And this is evidence-based communication. This is not about looking at some book and talking about something that does not exist. I'm not going to mention the book, but you know the book.
You heard Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Educhum.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has debunked claims of authorizing the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, to collect an annual levy imposed on luxury vehicles with high engine capacities. The authority says its attention has been drawn to a purported letter from GRA being circulated on social media titled Implementation of Luxury Vehicle Levy. The said letter states that the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, has been authorized to collect an annual levy imposed on luxury vehicles with high engine capacities. The GRA in a statement says the information is false and an investigation has been launched into the misleading report and persons found culpable would be dealt with.
And that's how we end the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. For more news, please log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obobisa-Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Caleb Kuda.
Many thanks for your time, and do enjoy the rest of our programs.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302-224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.
What do you get when you mix the best DJs in the country, the most amazing live band sets, delicious cocktails, and wonderful food? Back-to-back hit music from Ghana's finest group, Prayer, and being serenaded by the brilliantly talented Aquabua. The biggest outdoor party, of course. Situation 2022. Are you ready to party? We are changing the situation on December 24, 2022 with the biggest outdoor party in Accra. The Situation Outdoor Party 2022. Let's wrap up the year in style with the most epic party to end all parties this Christmas Eve with Situation. Make your Christmas Eve come alive with the most incredible DJs who will keep you dancing all night long. Amazing live band sets and the crooner Aquabua. It is the perfect ingredient for the best party this festive season. Ain't no party like a city party, because a city party don't stop. This will be another one to remember. Date Saturday 24th December 2022. Venue La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Accra. Time 8 p.m. Dress code, it's an all-white affair. For table booking, call 020-5973-973 or 055-8973-973. Book your table and make reservations now. Media partners, Ghana Weekend and City FM. This is powered by Citi TV. This is a Beyond the Return event.